Live from the Commissioner's office, I'm Joe Sutt, the Commission, here to give you a recap of last night's Week 4 games for the 2016 Spring SYBK Hockey League. I'm Joe Sutt, the Commission, and here is your quick recap. Last night in Game 1, we had Staten Island versus the Bronx. Going into the game, the Bronx was 3-0 with Staten Island 2-1. A win for Staten Island would have put them in a tie for first place. And it looked like in the beginning that might have been the story, as the Bronx only showed up with 5 players, most of their players traveling and out of town. So with a short bench, it looked like Staten Island was going to be able to take advantage. But the Bronx looked really tired after the first period. But astonishingly, after one period, it was Bronx led by 1-0 with a goal by David Cabasso, although Staten Island did control most of the play. In the second period, I felt like Staten Island got a little bit frustrated once the Bronx went up 2-0 with a goal by Jeffrey Towell, and they started deviating from their game plan, which should have been working the puck low, getting it deep, and forcing the Bronx to skate the entire length of the ice both ways. But it was really, most of the time, it was one shot and in, and really not forcing the Bronx to do too much work or to exert any energy, and that being the case, being down, and they trailed 2-1 going into the third. Late in the third, it was Bijou on a shorthanded goal that tied the game up at 2. But then with about 4 minutes left in the game, Brian, was last week's Player of the Week, was able to make a great backhanded pass to Mo Mala as he netted the game winner with 3 minutes left, and the Bronx held on for a 3-2 win and improved to 4-0, as Staten Island is now 2-2. Shout out Player of the Game and Player of the Week, Ray T. He played phenomenal for the Bronx last night. He was really the strength and the backbone of the team whenever they needed him. He was making a huge save. Although he gave up 2 goals, both of them really not even close to his fault. Both of them were 2-on-1s, and I don't blame it on the Bronx either, because they were tired as they only had one guy on the bench. So, but when crunch time came, Ray made a couple of really huge saves, and I think he is one of the most important reasons why this team is 4-0. So congrats to Ray, and to the Bronx, for it looks like they're miles ahead of everybody else as they are 4-0. Game 2 of the week was the Queens versus Brooklyn. Queens were 0-3 going into the game, and Brooklyn was 1-2 with their lone win coming against Queens in Week 1, and so that was a while back. The Queens were looking for their first win, and boy, were they a team that came out on fire, as they scored 5 goals in the first 7 minutes of play, and the game was over before the game even started. The Queens came out on fire. They had goals by 2 by Ramel, the goal by Sam Liniato, Jackie Haber, and DJ put up 2 also. But they were relentless on offense in the first 6 minutes of the game and really put Brooklyn away. Brooklyn wasn't able to respond at any point in the game. The game looked slow, sluggish, and they were really out of check. And that's been, 2-3 weeks in a row where this Brooklyn team seemed to be the heavy favorite, with Aaron Cabasso on their team and Stevie Beta in net, have yet to produce anything. So, guys were saying this team has the best offenseman in Aaron, the best defenseman in Richie, and Steven in net, but they have yet to prove anything, as they now fall down to 1-3 and giving up 6 goals in the last 2 weeks. I don't know, but I would think change has to come for that team, or they got to figure out something really quick, because at 1-3, they right now look like the weakest teams. Queens really stepped up. They finally had their full team last night, and everybody was complaining about this team, but I really think there's a ton of depth on this team, and they can really go pretty far. That being said, it's a 12-week season. Anything can really happen. But I do think that Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens, all three of them, might need to do a little shaking up the roster in order for them to compete with the Bronx, who are 4-0. With the Bronx being 4-0, really, and looks like they're holding on to first place. Really, it's up for grabs, second and third place. As Staten Island sits at 2-2, and Brooklyn and Queens are both at 1-3, and everybody knows that it is pivotal to grab either the first, second, or third place seed, because you don't want to be the fourth place seed trailing 1-0 in a playoff game, in a playoff series. So looking forward to next week's games. In game 1 next week at 8 o'clock, we have Brooklyn versus Staten Island. A win for Brooklyn would have them essentially tied with Staten Island, at 2-3. A win for Staten Island would really put separation on them amongst the team that would be in fourth place, which would be probably Brooklyn. The late game is the Bronx versus the Queens. The Bronx looking to improve to 4-0, and the Queens looking to put together their first winning streak of the season. That being said, we will see you all on the ice on Sunday, and we hope you enjoyed the recap, and we'll see you later.